Thank you for coming to Iceland. We have Silvia Cordero from the Mother Tongue Center in Lund, Sweden. We have Josephine Pallard and Gertrude Aberdeen from IHLA, the International Heritage Languages Association in Edmonton, Alberta. And you came over to Iceland for a conference about mother tongues or heritage languages, as you call them in Canada. And I have 4 questions I would like to ask you so that you can give your message to our people and whoever is interested. The first question is, what did you learn at the Móðurmál conference and would like to take with you back to your homes? Trudy.
Okay, for me, I learned a lot, and one of the things that I learned was having the chance to talk with Silvia, who talked about how her organization, or how language is taught in her country. And I also really appreciated being here and having the opportunity to speak with government officials and to be able to speak with other people who are involved to see how this organization is working towards the betterment of heritage language teaching, and that strengthens our resolve in our work as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the idea of having so very dedicated young professors of the mother tongue really has inspired me so much, because then there's a sign of hope. As we said, seeing young blood and the millennial and the Generation X present in a conference like this is really giving hope to what we believe as the experienced people, saying it's a dying world or it's a dying crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Not true. I've been so inspired by all the people that you have invited and the energy that you have really shown to each and every one. I will take it back to my own community and even to our own IHLA back in Canada.
Right.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
For me, it has been a pleasure being here and learning from you all, and especially learning another models that you have for the mother tongue instruction, especially the idea of involving the community. That is quite difficult, different from the Swedish model. And then, as Josephine said, just to see, especially even though we have different models and different ways of doing things, the one thing that I think reunites us is the love that we have for teaching, and especially to see the students growing in their identity and the strength in the mother tongue.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Question number 2. What recommendations do you have for those thinking of starting a heritage language program? And what advice would you have for the existing heritage language schools?
Think small, because starting with small things, but with passion and with love, that small thing will grow. It's just like a seed, as you said, and it will turn into an oak tree, and it will stay there longer than 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start doing that in starting a heritage program here in Iceland, I'm sure there will not be only 10 heritage languages or mother tongue that's going to progress, but your isolated forest will all be the Amazon of Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think that if I would give one advice is that you have this luxury position is that you can do whatever you want because you are building this up. So take a moment, take a breath, and think about what are the goals that you want to achieve. And as you just said also, just give one step at a time, but really firm towards that goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think also if you build it, they will come. So when people start a program, they start thinking that, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to find the students. I've never had the experience where people can't find the students.
Mm-hmm.
Finding the teachers is sometimes a little bit more difficult, but you need those community skills. So when you start a new school, you have to look for people who will support you in your goals. And that's why organizations such as ours are so important, because we've been there, we've done that, we know that problem. And maybe my school didn't have that problem, but Josephine's did.
Mm-hmm.
So we have advice that we can give you.
Mm-hmm.
As for existing schools, the important thing I think is to document what you're doing. So we get so caught up in the moment of working in the school that we forget to plan for the future. And every school needs to have a succession plan. So if something happens to me, or I have to move, or I decide I don't want to do that anymore. I have somebody else who will be able to take my place, and they have all of the skills and all of the knowledge of me because I've been sharing it with them. So I've prepared somebody else to step in, and that builds continuation of the school and helps the school survive long term.
Why do you think collaboration is important among mother tongue and heritage language schools?
I think that is crucial that people collaborate, and it's because of, like, of course we give our passion, we do it with professionalism, but we have our style. But when you open your doors and you start inviting your colleagues, so you grow, and then you get more ideas and more ways of doing things that maybe you can apply exactly as you get them, or maybe you are going to transform them in something new, but you grow, and with that growth, you can also make your practice better. And at the end, the students are going to get a better education. That is our goal.
Well, take the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Building your heritage or mother tongue to become successful and become part of your heritage needs collaboration. And as she said, the community is very important, but first of all, it's the family. You must really have the family really right there. They have to be the crux of the matter. They have to be the pillar of preserving the mother tongue. Then you flourish, you branch out. And as I've learned from one of your presentation, take a centipede. How many legs does a centipede have? Okay, create all those legs to be part of one centipede. And that is how we will collaborate. Maybe not just through IT, but face-to-face, just like that's what you're doing right now, because it's more effective when I see you smiling at me instead of just me listening to you. So I would really rather have the full cooperation when we come together in a form of a conference or a workshop like you have done today. Yes.
So the International and Heritage Languages Association, we formed because we got seed money back in 1977 to form a conference. And suddenly when we brought all of these people together from all of these various schools, people had this realization that, okay, you're from a different language group, but you have exactly the same problem as me. And so suddenly we weren't so isolated. We had people together that we would be able to talk with and figure out, so how did you handle this problem? And maybe you have an idea, and we will take your idea and fit it to our circumstances. And so I think it's the sharing that we have with each other that, one, makes us not feel alone, and two, gives us potential ideas for how we can improve ourselves. And on top of that, we get this renewed energy. I'm so excited to go back and to share all of the things that I've learned. You know, we work really hard in IHLA and Edmonton, but seeing the passion that we have from the reception we've had here in Iceland just makes us all that more eager to go back and do some work.
Yes.
It's very kind to say. So why are the mother tongue and heritage language schools important for the societies that they exist in?
Because if you nourish an individual in all the layers, that is going to be a better citizen, and is going to be an asset for that society that the individual is growing in.
And the importance of being a true citizen. And the world has turned into a smaller globe, so that global citizenship, as we always call, will be the one that's going to represent each and every one of us wherever you're going to go. Because there's always that heritage or your mother tongue being your representative, showing to them, I still love the place where my parents came from, despite the fact that I'm now a dual citizen of a certain country. So how important mother tongue is immeasurable. To me, you have to keep it to the very end, to the very last drop of your blood, because blood is thicker than wine and water.
I think that the work that we do is beyond teaching language. I strongly believe this. So in Heritage Language School or Mother Tongue Language School, you do learn your language. But more than learning your language, you learn to be part of a community. And when you belong to that community, you bring your parents with you, you bring your grandparents with you, and then you bring new people into the community with you, and we support and take care of each other. And often we have support because we're with other people who suffered those same circumstances. So for example, as somebody from the Vietnamese community, if you show up in a heritage language school that's Vietnamese, you bring your community, and if I'm looking for a job, I might find a job with other Vietnamese speakers. Or if I have an issue with this kind of medical problem, you might know a doctor who has an answer to help me with that kind of medical problem. So we support each other in ways that's just beyond language. We really are about building community and about building a society that's compassionate and takes care of one another.
Thank you.